sometimes even the best planned adventures turn into true odysseys. Adventure touring riders are very familiar with this. So for those instances, we have this here support/rescue recovery vehicle, the 2020 Jeep Gladiator in its gorgeous Gobi color, only available that particular year. Let me take you through all the upgrades I've done to this vehicle to make it truly ready for anything that might happen when we need to find a rider, put a bike on the back, and get them out of there. This is also my family vehicle. We love taking our daughter out in the desert and the mountains, and it's just an amazing machine. So let's get through the nitty-gritty details. Stay with me. Zdravo I dobrodošli, bom dia, bem-vindos, servus, willkommen, buenos dias, bienvenidos, greetings riders, and welcome to an overview of our rescue, recovery / support vehicle 2020 Jeep Gladiator in this gorgeous Gobi color, available only that year. This is a very basic sport model with a lot of not basic upgrades. It's got a 3-inch Rubicon Fox Lift kit, which allows us to go anywhere in the desert and not worry about not being able to come back when we need to rescue and recover riders who are stuck out there. You just meet somebody who's out there not being able to make it back. This vehicle, we can throw a motorcycle in the back or two. We can even throw it in behind the bike because this has a towing package to it. I think a towing package on a Gladiator is always a good option because it increases the tongue weight. If you get the max tow for the sport model, you get the Dana axles, the 44 Dana axles, so it just beefs up everything, including the brake and the engine cooling, etc. So this has the tow package for options like the Rubicon, Mojave. You only get the max tow because they call it the tow, but it's the same thing. Let's start from the front. LED lights, that's kind of a very, very required upgrade. The original lights on the Gladiator is just horrendous, and I hear even Rubicon doesn't come with that standard, so it's a necessary upgrade, albeit expensive. I think it's a good investment. But when we're talking about the lights, I do like this little Jeep logo right there. As we're talking about the lights, you can notice I have upgraded lights here and on top as well. The windshield right there has extra lights. I like these. These are very bright, very useful to give you the texture of the road. I'm not a huge fan of these because they kind of wash out and reflect off the hood at night, and they wash out the texture of the road, so you don't really see as good as you do here. Obviously the side ones, the little ones here, they do a great job in just increasing your field of view at night, so I do appreciate that. Another thing that I don't like about these top ones is that although this bodyguard assembly here is just beautifully done, high quality machining, it prevents you from using the windshield as is intended for the Wrangler and the Gladiator, so you can't really put it down anymore. You lose that feature of the vehicle, which is a huge attracting point, at least for me who rides motorcycles. So there you have that part about the lights. Definitely upgrade to the LED, and I would just recommend the bottom. The bumper here you could see is an upgraded bodyguard bumper as well. I do believe this one has been safety tested to comply with the airbag system that's in the vehicle. It also comes with a hitch here that you can install later. I've never actually had the need to use it, but it's nice to have that option. I do love this open feel here and open view, obviously for clearance purposes, but you could see the guts of the vehicle, just super sexy. I love that a lot. And obviously steel bumper, very, very resistant and strong, and just gives the front of the vehicle a whole new look. These are painted after the fact. I painted those and I like the look. You can paint them in the styling of the Rubicon lettering or the Mojave as well. Let's move on to the side of this gorgeous, gorgeous vehicle. Look at that, just absolutely beautiful. American Racing wheels with the 35-inch Cooper Discover SST Pro tires. These are, I think, on the more budget-oriented side of really aggressive tires for serious dirt. But they are okay. They are not too loud. They are a little bit on the softer side. That also has to do with my suspension, of course, which I'll talk in a second. But I wouldn't ride these tires anymore. I would switch to a Bridgestone, for example. I've had some good experiences with that. So I do like the look of the tire, but I would also be interested in seeing the performance in some other ones. 35s, as you can see, very aggressive, beautiful look on the Jeep. And with the 3-inch lift kit from Rubicon with the Fox shocks, it just gives it that awesome, awesome look. They're not terribly loud on the highway, but you do get a lot of the softer feel. So they're not my first choice, but they do look amazing, and I've never had issues with them in anything that I ride this thing with. A lot of times I'm with my child, so it can't be too aggressive. The head's bouncing all over the place, but this is good for everyday use. But I would do something different in the next Gladiator. What I would do is upgrade the axle ratio. So this has the standard 373 axle ratio. I would definitely go to the 410 just so that I could see more of that 8-speed. The 8 gear is not something I see too often unless I'm going on a mile downhill straightaway as well, but conditions have to be just perfect with maybe a little bit of tailwind. Tires are doing great. I got myself super muddy trying to film through the window though, but beautiful, no issues. Obviously this is not a problem for the Gladiator. It's flat here, some parts are a little harder to manage, but not super deep snow either, but nice. The Jeep in its natural habitat, love it. I just don't like the soft feel, but I think that also has to do with my 3-inch lift, the Rubicon Express Lift Kit with the Fox shocks. Makes the vehicle perfectly fine, perfectly pliable in highway applications. This is our everyday vehicle, but it is a little bit on the softer side. I think a 2-inch lift with the 35s would do just fine. It's got the Rubicon Rock Rail here, something that's important for the extended wheelbase of the Gladiator because you don't want to be kissing anything on the side there. It looks good too. It would have been beneficial to have a step that doesn't hang out too low because yeah, it's a little tricky to get in and out sometimes, especially if you park it on uneven ground. But the Jeep Gladiator in every trim has protection underneath. The little cable here is for my solar power. Don't mind that. I also painted the roof the same color of the vehicle just to reflect some of the heat, mostly for that. It also looks great, but you'd be amazed how matte black just kind of soaks up the heat. I have a matte black jacket, motorcycle jacket, that also came in glossy black actually, but it's amazing. As soon as the sun hits it, you're just overheating immediately, so that actually does a decent amount. There's the rear, beautiful, just a beautiful truck with the smaller bed, well, the only one that comes with the truck, the 5-foot bed. I really do like the trifold soft tonneau cover or whatever cover you use. This is not the tonneau or the Jeep brand. This is by Tiger, T-Y-G-E-R. It's on the cheaper side because it does its job and it gets quite a bit of abuse, but I do like that for various reasons, and you'll see how I actually outfit this vehicle for kind of a low-key covert overlanding. So we can ride like this to town, and inside we have a Kodiak canvas tent where you can actually stand in it.
Hey, good morning.
Matches the color actually, it looks beautiful. And everything we need to be overlanding in this thing. That's the beauty of this setup. It's a very covert overlanding setup that's fully functional. And in another video, you can actually see how I set up my Kodiak tent and my camp. And we're able to camp. My family with 2 dogs, my wife, you all know by now, beautiful Jackie with my daughter, and we're able to camp even in these temperatures. Now it's in the 40s with a little space heater, you know, a bed, a table, a booth. Pretty amazing setup. And it looks like this. So if you were down the road, you would not realize that we're actually on a trip. And if I wanted to, I can always add a motorcycle, firewood, or whatever. The rear window does have, or the rear window does have a window in itself. That's very useful. And during the day, it's just an everyday, regular, more or less regular, beautiful Jeep Gladiator. But at night, it's a really able and capable overlanding machine. So if you're interested, I'll link it to the description. You can see it in my playlist as well. Really great outfit that also allows me to carry a motorcycle either in the middle if I'm traveling alone or in the rear with the tow hitch if I'm with the family. I'm not a huge fan of the rack and the roof tent and all that. For everyday use, it just seems a little bit on the unnecessary side, wasteful side. Hits your gas mileage for sure. Speaking of gas mileage, this thing gets 14 miles a gallon, pretty standard highway or city. Not a huge fan of that with, you know, the next generation sitting in the back of the car, actually sleeping right now. I just feel a little irresponsible, if I may say so, just to have a vehicle for every day that's really bad on gas. I mean, it might not be an issue for you, but I would prefer that it was a better vehicle for gas. So I'm looking definitely forward to the 2024, I think recently announced hybrid model. That would be a little bit of an improvement and a move in the right direction. So, okay, so there it is, the wheels. Bumper in the back, also bodyguard. I like it that it's steel, very, very attractive looking. You can customize it. These little panels remove so you can paint it the way you want it. It does have incorporated the Western lights as well for the reverse, and these sensors for the backup sensors and safety, etc. So I like that as well. The safety feature, which was an add-on for this sport model, is recommended because the visibility on the Gladiator is not always amazing, especially in the blind spot. So it's really good. You give a blinker and it actually beeps at you. So, but there you go. That's what this beautiful bumper looks like on the vehicle. Tow package, of course, I would highly recommend. My next build is going to be with the max tow because it comes with the 44 Dana, just stronger components overall. So it would be nice to actually have that 410 axle ratio that comes stock with the Rubicon, for example. So it is an option. My next build definitely is going to take that into consideration. A huge thing that I'm going to improve for next time is the freaking buttons here. The button that allows you to open a door without the key. The keyless entry is just amazing function when you have a baby and your hand's always full. You don't have to look for the key. That's a huge plus. And my key fob has the remote start that allows you to warm up the vehicle, to get the engine up and running, of course, prolonging the longevity of the engine, the life. And that's, I think, also a great investment. Other than that, the GPS, the big screen, nothing that really interests me too much. I do like the auxiliary switch option. That's always a good add-on from the factory because it's a nightmare to try to do that yourself, take the dash apart. So definitely consider adding on the auxiliary package and the 400-watt inverter that gives you the regular standard, house appliance plug in the back. That's always useful. Obviously the windows and the doors, the convenience package again is a must because without that you can't even unlock the passenger door without the key, or you got to reach around from the driver's side. It's just old school absurdism. No need for that, to be honest. I mean, if you have anybody other than yourself getting into that car on a regular basis, you're not going to want to be unlocking the door for them all the time and rolling down the windows, although that's, I guess, less of an issue. So there you are, 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Amazing vehicle. I love it in this color because it doesn't get noticeably dirty. Here we have mud, of course, but in dusty situation in the desert, looks super clean, even though it's filthy. And I really like that about the Gobi color Gladiator. The other one, very similar to this, is the Gator Green. Absolutely beautiful color. Here you see the upgraded LED lights. Should come standard nowadays, to be honest, because the other ones just look too pedestrian, too provincial. Inside the truck itself, the truck bed, we have a rhino lining. Kind of nice to protect that as well because we do use it, of course, with the motorcycles and whatnot. So again, if you want to see how I use this as a very covert overlanding rig that looks like this but is ready for any kind of adventure and just, indefinite amounts of days camping, then you have to look at that video, and it's linked right in the corner. So take a look and let me know what you think. I'm always looking to upgrade and learn from viewers like you. This is what the interior sounds like. I'm speaking in normal voice. We're traveling fairly slow, 35 miles an hour, but supposedly these foam pads up here, they really help deafen the sound from the outside. Obviously this is a hardtop. Normally the hardtop is white. This one has been painted, but it's fairly quiet in the interior. Quiet enough to be able to enjoy a normal conversation. Highway speeds, obviously the noise picks up, but it's much more reasonable than the previous generation Wranglers, for example, before Gladiator came out. and never mind the rag top, so the soft top. So it is a manageable, quiet vehicle. The interior is very modern and durable. It seems like the buttons and everything seems like of a higher quality, which is what you expect when you're paying so much for a vehicle. Even it is a very off-road capable vehicle. I do like the buttons and how they feel and how they look. It's fairly masculine, and there's no cheap Chrysler feel to them that you might be used to from previous models and what Chrysler is known for. All the little bubbly buttons and just the kind of, you know, I don't know. I'd never enjoyed the interior of Chryslers, but this is a different story entirely. There's a serious lack of storage space and lighting in the cabin. So you have to buy these extra plastic bins that kind of hug all around next to your legs, next to the passenger's legs, in the little handle of the above the what is it called, the little box, my God, forget the name. There's a underneath here as well, you can buy a little box to put your phone, and it's very narrow and stuff, but it does increase the storage capacity quite a lot. Lighting is also terrible. Here you can see you kind of get it from behind. You don't get anything here. I don't know why not. They definitely could have made something there for lighting, because you're always looking for your something, you know, lack of storage, and you don't know where you put your phone or your keys or whatever, and you're looking for it. So it's really, it's kind of like a stressor. It's annoying. But other than that, the cabin is very comfy. I'm 5'8", and I have the seat all the way back. So if you're tall, maybe that's an issue, but I don't know. I don't mind at all. I'm sitting tall. All of that's adjustable, of course. I would definitely not get the Jeep without the comfort package, without the power windows and the power locks. I actually would also prefer to invest the $600-700 that's required when you're building a Jeep for the button that unlocks the vehicle without the need to press on the fob. That's very annoying to have to pull out your fob every time you need to get in your vehicle, because, sorry about that, this has been hanging here the whole time, because the fob is typically in your pocket and your hands are full, my baby's in my hand, groceries in there, whatever, dogs. I don't want to be looking for my fob just to unlock the vehicle. So I like that there's like a little button on the knob on the outside, and when it senses the fob in the proximity, you can get in the vehicle. That's very nice. You definitely don't want to be messing around with not having power windows and locks. Windows you could live with, but the locks are annoying because you need your key to unlock every door, or you need to reach physically unlock every door, because there's no power button on the interior either. That's something that I totally didn't even think about until I saw it in action. It's like I have to reach. Oh, there you go. These aftermarket phone mounts just suck for the Jeep. You know, imagine if you were off-roading. So, and I'm just city driving right now. So, oh God, yeah, that's a little issue with. Definitely buy better phone mounts. This one actually bolts in the Jeep little thing right here, little cubby, but it doesn't do a good job to keep a phone in place, especially if you're off-roading. So again,
new text message
I hate this feature because I don't know how to. I can ignore it, but it'll always read the thing. You know, I don't know how to cancel it reading my messages or telling me there's messages coming in. I hate it. Anyways, so I definitely don't really care for the GPS or the big screen. Maybe that's something you think is worth the investment. I could definitely do without it. Heated grips. This has the winter package, the snow cold, the cold package or whatever. Heated steering wheel, lights on fire almost, and the seats really great if you live somewhere cold. Didn't really get to use it here very much. Let's see, the sound is pretty good. The music, the premium auto package is pretty good. But when you're going at higher speeds, it's definitely muffled a little bit, obviously, because you are in a Jeep after all, especially with knobby tires. Another thing that actually creates a lot of noise, a little whistling noise, another reason why I wouldn't do it again, is the top light bar. The light bar that's on the top of my windshield creates a lot of noise, whistling, because it just gets air behind it and whatnot, and it itself is not very smooth. So I don't I don't like the light bar in that regard. The top one, in any case, I wouldn't get it for that second reason. The first being that it kind of reflects off my hood, and the third being that it also blinds out the texture of the road by hitting the light from the top instead of from the bottom, where you can actually see the texture of the road, but in virtue of the shadows. So yeah, other than that, great little Jeep Gladiator, an awesome vehicle. And we have arrived, and I bid you adieu. Love the vehicle, absolutely love the vehicle, and it's hard to move to something different now when we actually had the chance to enjoy it with all the extra space. Again, baby, 2 big dogs, little pit bulls. Also, you're familiar by now, they're in all my videos, even in the, and if we actually want to take it camping, this part gives us all the room we need to not only have a nice camp, but actually have a protected booth to eat in and enjoy the day if it's raining, that kind of thing. If I'm alone and I'm doing some scouting trips, or I'm with a client on trainings, what I can do is I can use the middle row that I always have free for a motorcycle. I can add another one in the back if needed. It's just a great vehicle, and we don't need any more truck than this can do. I hope that was helpful. 2020 Jeep Gladiator in Gobi color is our vehicle of choice for rescue, recovery, and support. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for your attention, and stay tuned for the next build of my next Gladiator. Cheers.